Now we have seen how to define setters and getters in C#. Let's go ahead and learn how to work with constructors. Constructors allow you to prepare your objects before you use it. It gives you the ability to create objects and assign values at the same time. If you want to use constructors, the syntax is very easy to use. First, you need to start with the access modifier. Next, you need to define the name of the object. Next, you add the data you want to assign in your constructor. One of the most powerful points in using constructors is the return type. There is no need for the return statement. Since it is a constructor, the return type is inferred and not necessary. Now let's go back to the Visual Studio and let's create a new enemy class. Every enemy has a name, a health, and a damage amount. Now we have our enemy class is ready for use. Let's go ahead and create a new program class. In our main method, we have two enemies, an orc and a goblin. As we said before, a constructor is a special method inside of a class that's gonna get called when we create an object for this class. Now let's go back to our enemy class and let's add a new constructor. And inside of our constructor, let's print a message. Over here in our main method, we're gonna run the program. Now if we hit the execute button, you will notice that it says building enemy twice. The result is printed twice because we created two enemies. So whenever we create an enemy, the text will be printed. Now let's pass a string name on our constructor. And then down here, let's print out the name. Over here in the main method, we need to pass only one parameter. Enemy goblin is equal to new enemy goblin. Let's say we're gonna add goblin as a name here and orc for the second enemy. Now when we run our program, it's gonna print out goblin and orc because we are calling that enemy constructor. Now if you notice, our goblin took 4 lines of code and our orc also took 4 lines of code. So it took 8 lines of code just to create two objects. Not only that, but we had to manually type out enemy1.name is equal to goblin and enemy1.health is equal to 50. That's a big waste of time if we want to do that every time we want to create an enemy. Now what we want to do is to pass all the enemy data in one line. Over here, our enemy constructor is gonna take 3 parameters. The first one is going to be a name, and this is gonna stand for argument name. The second is a health, and the last one is a damage. Once we define our arguments inside of this enemy, we need to pass values. Now, if we want to go to our main program, we need to pass all the same arguments as values in our main method. Now what we can do is deleting this code and passing the values inside of the constructor. Now we have passed from 8 lines of code to create these enemies, so now we have 2 lines of code. Now let's try to print the damage of our goblin. So let's just type console.writeLine goblin.damage. If we run our program, you will notice that 6 is printed out. Now if we want to update the damage value, we just need to type goblin.damage equal to 9. And now it will be updated to 9. Now we have learned how to define and use constructors. In the next tutorial, we're gonna learn how to work with static types.